95% of our daily needs are connected with the port or a container terminal.
Mumbai airport today is the most busiest airport in the world. It's not only here in India.
All Indian ports, specifically which are handling large container ships, have gone modern. We are on par, if not better, with European ports and other American ports.
क्या डेव्हलपमेंट झाल्यात, इतकं ईज ऑफ डुईंग बिझनेस झालंय की जी गोष्ट 30-40 वर्षापूर्वी 12 दिवस वॉज अ स्टँडर्ड, टुडे अर्ध्या दिवसामध्ये हे सगळं होऊ शकतं. आणि दॅट इज पॉसिबल बिकॉज ऑफ द एफिशियंट रनिंग ऑफ द पोर्ट, बिकॉज ऑफ द एफिशियंट रनिंग ऑफ द एअरक्राफ्ट and all those things.
MSMEs are the lifeline. They are pivotal to the growth of this country. You cannot have anything without MSMEs.
लहानपणापासून आपण खूप वेळ विचार करतो की मोठा झालो की मी पायलट बनीन, एखाद्या बोटीचा कप्तान बनीन, रेल्वे इंजिन चालवीन, क्रेन चालवीन, असे आपले वेगवेगळे विचार असतात. पण शेवटी आपण मग काय बनतो? चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट, कंपनी सेक्रेटरी, लॉयर. शेवटी ह्या इच्छा राहून जातात आपल्या. पण आपल्याला आश्चर्य वाटेल की ह्या ज्या इंडस्ट्रीज आहेत ह्या कधीही न थांबणाऱ्या इंडस्ट्रीज आहेत. कधी ऐकलं का एअरपोर्ट बंद आहे, पोर्ट बंद आहे, रेल्वे बंद आहे? रेल्वे बंद कधी पडते मुंबईत? पाऊस मोठा पडला की पावसाळ्यात. पण किती त्रास होतो आपल्याला. पण ह्या इंडस्ट्रीजले दिग्गज आज आपल्याबरोबर आलेले आहेत. प्रकाशजी आहेत, अनिरुद्धजी आहेत आणि प्रधान सर आहेत. सो एअरपोर्ट आहे आपल्याबरोबर, आज आपल्याबरोबर पोर्ट आहे आणि आपल्याबरोबर शिपिंग कंपनी आहे. तर ह्या तिन्ही दिग्गजांना जे आपल्यासाठी अहोरात्र काम करत असतात त्यांच्यासाठी एकदा जोरदार टाळ्या होऊन जाऊ देत. सो प्रकाश, पहिला प्रश्न तुम्हाला आहे. यू आर फ्री टू आन्सर इन इंग्लिश, हिंदी, मराठी, वॉट एवर यू आर कन्व्हिनियंट. So Prakash, what about the ports, airports? What's happening at the airports right now, and what are the new things that we are expecting at the airports?
Thank you Alad, thank you very much, and everybody thank you. आप लोग बोल सकते हो, मेरे को मराठी थोड़ी बहुत आती है, but हिंदी and English I'm okay little bit. In the sense इतना problem नहीं आना चाहिए, but I'll speak in English if you don't mind. Number one question is airport. I think I should be asking all of you. Because most of you would have traveled through the Mumbai airport. I want to know कि आपको कैसा लगता है. पहली बात तो आपको लगता है कि एयरपोर्ट इज अ एविएशन इंडस्ट्री. एम आई राइट? सब एग्री कर रहे हो कि नहीं मेरे साथ? इट्स अ एविएशन इंडस्ट्री, बट आई डिसएग्री विथ यू. देयर इज अ रीजन बिहाइंड इट. बिकॉज एयरपोर्ट, until you board the aircraft and you go on to the airplane, it is actually hospitality. Why? Because your experience is very important. How do I make you feel? How does my team make you feel when you come at the airport? It is frankly like any other place of service where you should be. So we at the airport take this as a hospitality plus aviation. Hospitality very important. If you would have asked me, you're asking me what changes are we making. We want to make it seamless. We want to make it anxiety free. The reason is because when you are traveling, I know what stress you can go through. And many people do that. And I've seen that. People have forgotten their passports. They have forgotten their bags. And then we are running around for lost and found. I get so many cases. Those people who know me actually text me and tell me, please help me. But I'm saying this is what we want to remove. And that is the stress that you get, the anxiety that you carry, and it should be seamless for you. You should be able to predict that what time I get out and get to the airport and how can I get my plane and I travel. I should enjoy the experience. So when you enter the airport, once all your check-in and other things are done, how do I entertain myself? Because there is time for the aircraft to fly off and to board. So at that time, we even work on how do we make it entertaining for anybody who's there. So we are making a lot of changes. Anybody uses DG Jatra? हाथ ऊपर करें please. हाँ, very good. I'm so happy. Please और भी ज़्यादा use करिए, because DG Jatra is your solution to anxiety-free travel, and it's going to go only better and better. The number of e-gates we have prepared at the airport, आपको surprising होगा कि इतने कहाँ से आ गए. पहले हमारे पास 8 गेट होते थे. Today we have got, sorry, 16 होते थे, 8 multiply by 2, क्योंकि 2 एंट्री होते थे. Today we have gone 8 into 8, 64 gates. 64 gates just to make it easy. The traffic has gone up. The numbers have gone up. We need to be ready to service you. So these are the changes we are going to do in airports, which are mainly technology. Mainly, how do we bring in discipline amongst the people, and how do we make it safe and secure for all of you?
Thank you, Prakash. So next question is for Anirudh. अनिरुद्ध, जब भी पोर्ट का सवाल आ जाता है तो पहले दिमाग में एक इमेज आ जाती है, ब्लू कलर का शर्ट पहने हुए बच्चन, एंड ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट अगला कुली कुछ ये नहीं करेगा वो नहीं करेगा, एंड देन हम पिक्चर का टाइगर. आज का क्या सिचुएशन है पोर्ट में, एंड हाउ डज दैट इंडस्ट्री इज, हाउ डज इट लुक लाइक, एंड अगेन व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इन पोर्ट?
थँक यू आल्हाद. फर्स्ट अँड फॉरमोस्ट आपल्या सगळ्यांना नवीन वर्षाच्या खूप खूप शुभेच्छा. हे नवीन वर्ष आपलं सुखाचं जावो. Coming back to Allah's question, अभी वो ज़माना नहीं रहा कि डगला लाल या नीले डगले वाला कूली आके बोलता है मैं ये सामान नहीं उठाऊंगा. वैसे अभी कुछ रहा नहीं है. Thank God वैसे कुछ रहा नहीं है. We have become very, very modern in our ports. We have become extremely productive, and we have become extremely agile in terms of adopting new technology. What you probably have seen in Hindi movies or even Marathi movies, wherein there is a long line of port workers outside the gate to get in, those who are not educated used to put their thumb impression, otherwise they used to sign for daily wages. Gone are those days. Nothing of that sort happens in India anywhere. All Indian ports, specifically which are handling large container ships, have gone modern. We are on par, if not better, with European ports and other American ports. Trust me on this one. We are better in productivity, we are better in turning around of ships, and we are better in overall efficiency throughout the course of operation. And I'm sure Prakash, who was the head of, he was running a container terminal, and of course later on a port by itself, will vouch for that. He has a major role to play in modernizing our container as well as the port industry. So thank you very much, Prakash. So coming back to again Allah's question, India has seen a great infrastructural change in the port industry. Thanks to the government's initiative, thanks to the international container terminal operators who have made a mark in India. Prakash's company, erstwhile company, APM Terminals, or even now the Adani Group, which is pioneering in development of ports. Thank God for these superb infrastructure developments. We have become one of the country which has a great modern ports which are operating today, which are making everybody's life extremely simple and very efficient. People may not be aware of this, but I think 95% of our daily needs are connected with the port or a container terminal. Whether you have your iPhone or an Android phone, or you wear something, a Levi's or a Pepe jeans which is imported, it is all coming through the ports and through you see the big boxes, 40-foot and 20-foot containers, it all comes by that. So I think ports have added a huge amount of simplicity, convenience, ease, whatever you want to call it, in everybody's life. That has been a sea change, a transformation in the port industry in India. And it is not going to stop. It is only going to get better. A lot of things are planned. They're already under construction. As Nhava Sheva Port, which, we call it Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust, earlier known as Nhava Sheva because it captured the island of Nhava and Sheva. It's in the expansion mode. It is the first port in India to attain a capacity of 10 million TEUs. And that's not small. 10 million TEUs is a lot of containers. And the way in which our consumers are, or rather our consumption is going up, we will soon fill that capacity, and we're going to require additional capacities, which of course are in the pipeline. But that's a small introduction of what the port sector is changing and what additional capacities we are installing.
थैंक यू अनिरुद्ध. सो पोर्ट रेडी है, एयरपोर्ट रेडी है, बट कुछ काम नहीं कर सकता जब तक प्रधान साहब कुछ हेल्प नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज ही इज इनटू द लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड शिपिंग एंड द लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी. सो सर, you share about what is your role and what are the new things happening in the logistics shipping industry, and then we'll come to the opportunities part.
Thank you, Allad. First of all, thank you to Atul sir for giving me an opportunity to be here. I am not an outsider for this institute. मी ह्या इन्स्टिट्यूटमध्ये शिकलोय, सो मी पण एक लक्षवेधी आहे. अतुल सरांनी आमच्या ऑफिससाठी सेल्ससाठी एक चांगला प्रोग्राम डिझाईन केला होता. सुयश सरांनी तो पुढे नेला होता आणि आम्हाला त्यात खूप बेनिफिट मिळाला. दुसरं, हे सगळे जे पोर्ट्स डेव्हलपमेंटबद्दल डेले साहेबांनी सांगितलं, वन थिंग आय मस्ट से, JNPTला पहिली बोट आली ती मी हँडल केली होती. त्याच्यात माझे 54 कंटेनर्स होते वेस्ट कोस्ट पेपर मिलचे. त्यावेळेला मी फोर्ब्समध्ये कामाला होतो आणि अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट लाईन्सची पहिली बोट आली होती तिकडे. सो फॉर्च्युनेटली पहिल्या बोटीपासूनचा एक्सपिरियन्स आतापर्यंत आहे आणि त्यामुळे हे असे चांगले मित्र मला मिळाले. डेव्हलपमेंट मी कंपॅरिझनमध्ये सांगतो. मी फोर्ब्समध्ये 1981पासून काम करतो आहे. फोर्ब्स कॅम्बेल त्याला होती, नंतर फोर्ब्स गोकाक, आणि 1994ला मी माझी कंपनी चालू केली. ज्या वेळेला आम्ही फोर्ब्समध्ये होतो त्याला एक कस्टम्स क्लिअरन्स आणि शिपिंग बिल हँडओव्हर करणं, फ्रॉम द टाईम कस्टमरनी तुम्हाला डॉक्युमेंट दिली किंवा कार्गो दिला, आम्ही 12 दिवसात करायचो. अँड वी यूज टू बोस्ट अबाउट इट. Okay, that we do all these things in 12 days, and the customers used to be very happy that we have some standards. Today it has come down to 1.5 day, not even 1.5 day, only half day. That is what we are targeting. Okay, so you can imagine की केवढी डेव्हलपमेंट झाली. जे लोकांना माहिती नाही आहे की काय होतंय, गव्हर्नमेंटला आपण दोष देतो, पण इतक्या डेव्हलपमेंट झाल्यात, इतकं ईज ऑफ डुईंग बिझनेस झालं आहे की जी गोष्ट 30-40 वर्षापूर्वी 12 दिवस वॉज अ स्टँडर्ड, टुडे अर्ध्या दिवसामध्ये हे सगळं होऊ शकतं. आणि दॅट इज पॉसिबल बिकॉज ऑफ द एफिशियंट रनिंग ऑफ द पोर्ट, बिकॉज ऑफ द एफिशियंट रनिंग ऑफ द एअरक्राफ्ट्स अँड ऑल दोज थिंग. सो माझं म्हणणं असं आहे की ह्या इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये चिक्कार डेव्हलपमेंट झाली आणि अजूनसुद्धा चिक्कार डेव्हलपमेंट पॉसिबल आहे. एक गोष्ट what I would talk about development is की ज्या पद्धतीने आपल्याला सॉफ्टवेअरमध्ये मदत मिळत चाललेली आहे, ती मदत आम्हाला त्यावेळेला मिळत नव्हती. आणि बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट थिंग्स हॅव बिकम व्हेरी व्हेरी इझी. म्हणजे आय रिमेंबर वेन आय जॉईन फोर्ब्स, इफ कोणी मला LCL कार्गो दिला आणि मला त्याच्याबद्दल विचारलं की अरे कधी जाणार आहे, अरे मग माहिती नाही आहे. 40 दिवस पडत होता कार्गो, माहिती नाही. दिस इज अ सिम्पल थिंग. आज आमच्याकडे कार्गो देतात आणि विचारतात संध्याकाळी अरे भरलं की नाही. सॉरी फॉर माय लँग्वेज, बट दिस इज हाऊ कस्टमर्स डिमांड टुडे, ऑनेस्टली. सो वी हॅव टू बी कंटिन्युअसली व्हेरी व्हेरी अजाईल and see to it that we have much better standards in giving the service to the customers. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So you have illustrious career and in all your line days, port days, airport days. Have you come across any MSME? Why I'm asking this, because all we sitting here in this room, we are MSMEs, right? MSMEs, and we are keenly interested to know about how do they make impact on multinationals and companies who have got huge name, kind of. So,
Alad, good question. Thank you. MSMEs are the lifeline. They are pivotal to the growth of this country. You cannot have anything without MSMEs. That's guaranteed. Absolutely, I'm telling you. I'll give you classic examples today. And let me take airport. because this is where I am today. I'll leave the other two gentlemen to talk about the port and the logistics business. In the airports, we have MSMEs everywhere. Now, I'll take you through the journey. When you are actually coming in at the airport, you see a lot of people out over there who are called DG buddies. Now, what are the DG buddies doing? Helping you to enroll yourself on DG Jatra. They are from an MSME organization. Come inside. When you see the person checking you in on the counter for the airline, do you think that's an airline staff? The answer is no. They are through an MSME to the airline. So they are MSME team members. Go inside after the security check, because security is done by the government of India, by the CISF, doing a fantastic job. So they do that security check. After that, once you are there, you have free time and you are getting ready to board the aircraft. Do you go and have a cup of tea or whatever snack or whatever meal, whatever you do? All of them are actually MSMEs. Each one of them, the supplier, you may see those names common across many airports, but they are MSME. Now, let's go after the aircraft, whatever big companies leave it. But you have a pushback. Who's doing the pushback? The ground handler. The ground handler is also a MSME. Though there may be a large company, but a partner of theirs is a MSME. So I'm saying everywhere we have examples of that. But a classic example will come when we are going to do some design, planning. That's where we get a lot of MSMEs to help us. And they are specialists. So what do I see in MSMEs is the mindset of entrepreneurship, mindset of innovation, the speed, the agility, and the ability to also take risk.
Lovely.
So that is the key. What the entrepreneurs bring is the ability to take the risk. But we all, whatever we all were kids one day, right? So MSMEs are the next future, I'd say mid caps and the large caps and the super large caps, whatever you call them. So MSMEs are the key, and they control, I'll give you this number, 40% of the labor force of India today. Right. 40%, it's not a joke. And they bring the rural India into the urban India. Or connect them, if not bring, but they connect them. The other very good place where I see a lot of MSMEs participating is in the technology and digitization. Because they are that innovative mind or that mindset where you need actually one or two people and they can deliver enormous, breadth and length of an activity. So across the board, MSMEs are everywhere. So let's assume that even a large company like a construction company would be there constructing something at our airport. There would be MSMEs supporting them. Those large companies can't do on their own. They move actually very slowly. They are like elephants, right? So they take time to move. So these large companies need this agile team to help them. So they would be actually hiring equipment from somewhere and bringing it in. They may be bringing in people from somewhere to help them, because that's how they get that speed and agility, and they divide their scope and work. No doubt, they do a lot of, the large companies will do a lot of R&D and a lot of spend on marketing and others, but this is where I see MSMEs playing a very, very important role in every walk of life, whatever you take. Yesterday, Zomato or Swiggy or Zepto were all MSMEs. Look at them where they are today. So MSMEs is the most important.
Super. So, yeah. So I can note that basically people, equipment, and the agility. These are the three things very critical. Innovation, of course. Aniruddha, if you want to give an example, कुठली आठवण असेल एखादी एखाद्या MSME बद्दलची तर म्हणजे आम्हाला इन्स्पायर करायला ते खूप छान होईल.
नक्कीच. Especially container terminal चालवताना, we are probably a multinational company who are running a container terminal as concession has been awarded to us. But who do we depend on for our daily lives, literally daily lives, whether we want to hire a fleet of cars or whether we want to hire QC operators. QC is rail-mounted key cranes, that equipment which moves the container from ship to shore and back on the ship. So that is a rail-mounted key crane. So the operators of such very pricey or very expensive and very technology-savvy equipment needs to be trained, needs to be properly guided. And where do they come from? They come from MSME. We have a manpower supplier person who looks after their skill development, who looks after their training needs, and then he supplies us with required people. So again, we are dependent on MSMEs. Take an example of daily life, canteen. Our canteen contractor, and this is a live example I'm saying, he used to run a small tea stall in a place called Uran. He has come up by starting a small canteen in the container terminal. Today he runs proper cafeterias in 3 different container terminals, and he caters to 4,000 to 5,000 meals per day. So that's how you can, of course he has taken time. He has taken probably 10 years, 12 years to reach at this place. But there will always be a support for MSMEs from all of us because we depend on MSMEs. We know large corporations cannot deliver the speed at which we require, the agility with which we demand, or our overnight demands, yaar abhi midnight snack chahiye. I can't tell a Taj or a Ambassador Hotel or a Trident to provide me this service. My QC operators, after their shift is over, they will come and want to have a midnight snack because people are hungry at 2 a.m. in the morning. Who will give them this? It's going to be our canteen contractor, our cafeteria operator. Same goes with the fleet of cars we have. I'll give you an example again from a village called Bokadvira, which is in Uran Taluka. He came to me saying, "Sahib, माझ्याकडे एक अर्टिगा आहे, एक्सेस अर्टिगा आहे, तुम्ही ती लावू शकता का माझ्याकडे?" म्हटलं ठीक आहे, तू गाडीची कंडिशन बघू आणि आपण बघूया काय करता येऊ शकतंय. So we did that. He is today operating a fleet of 6 cars. So he multiplied from 1 to 2 to 3. And again, on the basis of the support given to him by no other than all the container terminals put together or the port authority. And of course, he delivered. Whenever a lady operator, we have a good amount of lady operators with us. Whenever the shift was over at 8 p.m., we had to make sure that they were safely at their residences. We used his car. He was a localite, known people, known to the local villages. So they depended on him. He did a very good job. He got another contract from my neighboring container terminal. So that's the journey of MSMEs, which I have seen, and I'm perfectly fine to give opportunities to these MSMEs. The doors are open, and the scope is endless. It's not just fleet of cars or catering. We use so many MSMEs today, mostly from Thane-Belapur belt, whether it is repairs, whether it is civil construction, whether it is an odd plumbing job, or even housekeeping. So list is endless.
ग्रेट. एक छोटी आठवण सांगतो. मगाशी आता अनिरुद्धजीने सांगितलं, पटकन आम्हाला काही खाणं हवं असेल तर आपण मागवू शकायचो. आमच्या इथे एक ट्रेनिंग चालू होतं, विजन मिशनचं ट्रेनिंग. अँड विजन मिशनचं ट्रेनिंग चालू होतं आणि दुपारच्या स्नॅक्सला आमच्या क्रेन ऑपरेटर्ससाठी ट्रेनिंग होतं. प्रकाश स्वतः ते सेशन कंडक्ट करणार होते आणि त्यावेळेला स्नॅक्ससाठी समोसा होता आणि मस्त पहिला पाऊस पडला आणि प्रकाश मला म्हणाले, "अल्ला, पहिला पाऊस पडलाय, भजी सांग." आणि आम्ही कांदा भजी सांगितली. पण तुम्हाला खरंच आश्चर्य वाटेल, जेव्हा क्रेन ऑपरेटर्सना समोशाच्या ऐवजी कांदा भजी मिळाली तेव्हा त्या जे सगळे क्रेन ऑपरेटर्स होते त्यांनी नुसते टाळ्या वाजवल्या त्या सेशन नंतर. का तर एक छोटीशी गोष्ट आहे, पहिला पाऊस आणि कांदा भजी. तुम्हाला पण समजत असेल राईट काय कनेक्शन आहे. आणि अमेझिंग. सो ग्रेट. सो ही एजिलिटी फक्त अशीच MSME कडनं येऊ शकते. सर, एक प्रश्न आहे की तुम्ही स्वतः लक्षवेधमध्ये होतात आणि तुम्ही MSME होतात एकेकाळी. तुमचे काय प्रॉब्लेम्स होते, तुम्ही कसे प्रॉब्लेम्स ओव्हरकम केले आणि काय तुम्हाला स्ट्रगल होतं ते जरा आमच्याबरोबर शेअर करा ना.
MSMEमध्ये होतो मी आणि बराच काळ होतो. प्रॉब्लेम्स भरपूर असतात, पण आय वुड पुट डाऊन इन 2 पॉईंट्स. सगळ्यात मोठा फायनान्सचा प्रॉब्लेम होता. इज अ ग्रोईंग प्रॉब्लेम अँड दिस इज कमिंग फ्रॉम माय हार्ट बिकॉज आय हॅव गॉन थ्रू ऑल दिस थिंग्स. फायनान्सला तुम्हाला मदत करायला अनटिल अनलेस चांगला माणूस, चांगला इन्व्हेस्टर मिळणं हा एक सगळ्यात मोठी गोष्ट असते. आणि त्याच्यासाठी आधीच्या सेशनला राजेशनी सांगितलं त्याप्रमाणे तुम्हाला काम करायला पाहिजे. पण आम्ही हे ओव्हरकम करणं त्या ह्याच्यामध्ये, कारण की जसे जसे पैशाचे कधी कधी बिझनेस मोठा यायचा पण करायला पैसे नसायचे. मग प्रॉपर बँकेचं हे करून आम्ही ट्राय केलं, पण बँकसुद्धा खूप कन्झर्वेटिव्हली ओपन अप होऊन द्यायचे. पण असेच हे करत करत शेवटी आम्हाला चांगला कन्सल्टंट मिळाला. देन ही पुट अस थ्रू ऑल दोज थिंग्स. सो इट इज अ प्रोसेस की वी केम थ्रू अ डिफिकल्ट सिनारिओ. आणि जस्ट टू गिव्ह यू अ बॅकग्राऊंड, माय फादर वॉज अ बँक एम्प्लॉई आणि मी 300 रुपये पगारावर 4 वर्ष नोकरी केलेली आहे. आणि त्याच्यामुळे ही कंपनी जी आज जवळजवळ 600 कोटीचा टर्नओव्हर करतो आम्ही, ती उभी करायला आमच्या 4 जणांची इन्व्हेस्टमेंट 60,000 रुपये होती फक्त. ओके, सो यू कॅन इमॅजिन आम्हाला फायनान्सची किती चणचण होती. आणि इट वॉज ओनली अ big problem for us to go through all these things. So my biggest thing was finance. The second problem which I faced all throughout and even today we are facing is because of our tax regime. You know, most of the owners are spending lot of time on this. मध्येच एक टॅक्स तुम्ही कितीही कन्सल्टंट्स ठेवा, तुम्हाला एखादी GST सर्व्हिस टॅक्सची नोटीस आली नाही अशी कंपनी नाही. ओके, बिकॉज वी आर स्ट्रगलिंग ऑन दॅट. आपल्या ह्याच्यात 1+1 2 असं कुठचंच प्रपोर्शन नाही आहे. या फ्रेटवर एवढा टॅक्स, त्या फ्रेटवर तेवढा टॅक्स. सो इफ आवर गव्हर्नमेंट कॅन डू समथिंग ऑन दॅट वेअर इट इज व्हेरी व्हेरी क्लिअर की हे केलं तर तुम्हाला हे पडणार, ते केलं तर ते पडणार. इट शुड नॉट बी ऑन द विम्स अँड फॅन्सीज ऑफ द ऑफिसर्स हू आर डुईंग इट. सो दीज आर द 2 थिंग्स ह्यांनी आमचा जीव काढला ऑनेस्टली. अँड दिस आय वुड से दॅट if you are prepared for it, if you can get these things aligned, doing business is very very easy.
Great, thank you. आपल्या अनिरुद्ध ह्याच प्रश्नावर मला एक सरांचा की फायनान्स, आता फायनान्स इज स्टक इन वर्किंग कॅपिटल. सो MSMEs have put their bills to the corporates. Why those bills don't get cleared in 45 days period of time? हा एक मोठा प्रश्न आहे. तर what is your perspective?
There are 2 ways to look at it. For my organization, I have made sure that we pay not in 45, but we turn around those invoices in 30 days, specifically for MSMEs, because we understand the pain. At some point of time, I may not have been working in an MSME, but I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my relatives have come up hard way by working in an MSME or now having their own MSME, but now it's well established. So we've definitely we do have a more kinder look in terms of that, and we turn around their invoices in 30 days. My suggestion would be, there are a lot of people I find they come solo. Is it possible to have a collaborative approach? If it is possible to have a collaborative approach, and as he rightly pointed out, funding is an issue. If there is a collaborative approach, then probably funding may not be as bad an issue as it is envisaged, because then you come together, pool in, and then start serving a company. You have proper service level agreements with the company, and trust me, no company would want to hold your payment if you have performed at the level at which you are expected to perform, and you have given the service what you are expected to give to the company.
सो म्हणजे पेमेंट्स बरोबर जे सपोर्टिंग लागतात ते प्रॉपर आले तर पेमेंटला काही इश्यू होणार नाही, हे थोडक्यात म्हणायचं.
That is next point. I think where the MSMEs need to really take a kind of leap of faith, or whatever you want to call it, or take a big jump, is ensure that your documentation is correct. We always face issue, and I'm stressing the word always. They just give one paper invoice and that's it. Obviously, our finance department, our audit department would need the supportings as to delivery of service, acknowledgement from the company that yes, the services have been delivered or the goods have been supplied, as the case may be. So you please make sure that you're conforming to all the documentary formalities, what the company wants you to do it. And it goes two ways. You will not provide a service to a company unless you get a proper purchase order from the company. And that is mandatory. I have made it mandatory that we'll not procure any services or goods unless we give a proper purchase order. So it binds us to make sure that we pay and we adhere to the terms and conditions of the purchase order. So make sure your documentation is correct. You submit all the relevant documentation along with your invoice, and I'm sure no company is going to hold your payment for whatever the reason is.
Thank you. So, Prakash, now recently the new Indigo first commercial flight happened on the new airport.
Yeah.
So how do you see the changes happening when the new airport is coming? And generally, whenever a bigger project like infrastructure, like airports or any other highways, roadways, bullet trains, what kind of opportunity you feel for us as MSMEs are there, which we can tap? And while there are big daddies in the L&Ts and bigger players, how do we approach them? How do we get those kind of activities done?
Good one. But before I conclude, I will just take the last one.
Yes,
I would say for MSME, cash is king. Cash flow पे ध्यान दो, please. और एक बहुत ही important है. I think Anirudh said a very good thing, and that is process. I would say please look at your documentation, the legal documentation, the contract which you make with the company. Don't go overboard by saying कि अरे मुझे 50 दिन के बाद पैसा दे दो या 60 days के बाद. Don't do that. In fact, आप सामने से जाके बोलो कि मैं काम अच्छा करूँगा, मुझे एडवांस देना. And I'll tell you they will pay. हम करते हैं. At our airports, at our businesses, the group does it. Because we want to bring up MSMEs because they are the most reliable and you can actually rely on them. कि भाई जब भी टाइम आता है तो ये आते हैं. बड़ी कंपनियां of course they have their own processes and rules, तो प्रॉब्लम होता है. तो आई एम सेइंग प्लीज आस्क कि मेरा इतना काम हो जाएगा, मुझे एटलीस्ट उसके अगेंस्ट 60% दे देना. कोई भी ना नहीं बोलेगा बिकॉज यू हैव डन योर वर्क. नाउ कम टू द क्वेश्चन. नवी मुंबई एयरपोर्ट इज गोइंग टू स्टार्ट वेरी सून. अप्रैल में वो शुरू हो जाएगा एंड इट इज़ very much needed for Mumbai and the extended Mumbai MMR region जो हम बोलते हैं, उनके लिए बहुत ही ज़रूरी है कि हमें 2 एयरपोर्ट होना चाहिए. मुंबई एयरपोर्ट टुडे is the most busiest airport in the world. It's not only here in India, it's the most busiest airport in the world. I know there is Gatwick, but Gatwick does not operate 24/7. They operate only during the daylight and some night hours. So we do on an average, not less than 48, air traffic movements in an hour. मतलब 1 minute और 1.5 minute के आसपास एक प्लेन इधर उतर रहा है या चढ़ रहा है. Either of them, take off or landing. Imagine the work our government of India officers are doing in the AAI. They're amazing. Correct. So that is why this airport is very necessary to help all of us for our mode of transport and for convenience. Come back to the development of so many new ports, bullet train, metros, everything is there, right? All this is very good and MSMEs definitely play a role. Even though the large contract may be given to one body. Why? Because then there is one person to deal with or one company to deal with. The company ordering also does not want to deal with thousands of them. There is a reason. It's an administrative issue. That particular company who wins the contract also subcontracts it.
Correct.
And then it is further subcontracted. So my feel is that maybe there are larger things like where huge investments are required. Let the big company do it.
Right.
Okay, they will do it, but they will outsource also. And that is the first step to the next larger goals that one has. And I'll tell you, the larger company also cannot live without the MSMEs. As I said, 40% of our total employment is actually generated by the MSMEs. So critically, I would say the fields like wherever there are services, wherever there is digitization, wherever there is innovation, you will see MSMEs stepping up. Even I would say, like, he mentioned about cars, Anirudh. I would say even certain services like that is needed by the large companies from the MSMEs. I'm not restricting MSMEs. I'm saying these MSMEs tomorrow will become the large or the mid caps, as I said, and they have to start somewhere. So that is the entrepreneurial, attitude which the MSMEs have makes them grow and become the large companies. So there is always a need for MSME. Never ever forget that.
Great. So now everything is said, but how about skilling? Because unless I'm skilled, I can't take up that job. So how do you recommend on the skilling aspect and investment in manpower, which is perhaps ignored in the MSME sector? What will be your recommendation on that, Anirudh?
Actually, here the large organizations have a role to play. We as a container terminal have invested not just monetarily, but also making sure that the Raigad district youth, whether it is boy or a girl, doesn't matter. We are not just recruiting male. We are not gender biased, but everybody. We have started an institute in Navasheva area to train people in port and logistics sector. So this is our kharicha vata apan jala म्हणतो, to make sure that we encourage people to have skill development. We encourage people to acquire some skills, make them employable. And I'm going to tell you a really sad and hard fact. Today's youth, after their graduation, is more looking into the reels of mobile phone and Instagram and getting a motorcycle and roaming around all over the place than sitting and seriously introspecting as to what do I want to do after I graduate. This is an area where you could get yourself a skill, you learn something, not necessarily how to drive a gantry crane or a RTG, but do something with shipping, do something with logistics. There are so many avenues open today for today's youth to get themselves, get some skill developed, simple. So yes, we are one of the terminals who have started this exercise, but as MSMEs who would like to employ people in large corporations, you as owners of MSME need to take that responsibility, make sure people who come to you are exposed to some skill development. You partner with some institute. I'm ready to partner with some people to make sure that people get trained. So that is an important aspect, and I'm sure it also applies to the airports.
Great. So आपल्याकडे ट्रेनिंग झालं, स्किल झालं. सर, प्रधान सर, माझ्याकडचा ट्रेंड चांगला टीम मेंबर आहे आणि पुढच्या 2 महिन्यानंतर तो मोठ्या शिपिंग लाईनकडे निघून जातो. म्हणजे मी छान ट्रेनिंग इन्स्टिट्यूट झालो मोठ्या शिपिंग लाईन करता. तर तुम्ही एम्प्लॉई रिटेन्शन कसं करता?
हा एक खूप महत्त्वाचा भाग आहे आमच्या बिझनेसमध्ये. पहिली गोष्ट म्हणजे आपण ज्या वेळेला बिझनेस चालू करतो, मिड साईज होतो, मोठा होतो, त्याला आपल्याकडे बरेच लोक येतात. अरे माझ्या मुलाला लाव, अरे माझ्या याला लाव. फर्स्ट अँड फॉरमोस्ट, ओनली एम्प्लॉय अ पर्सन इफ ही इज सुटेबल फॉर दॅट पोस्ट. तुमचा कितीही जवळचा मित्र असो, नातेवाईक असो, कोणाचंही त्या बाबतीत ऐकू नका. अ पर्सन हॅज टू बी एम्प्लॉयबल टू अ प्लेस वेअर ही is going, and that is the most important thing that we do. Okay, कितीही जवळचं असला तरी this is one restriction I follow, and that is to the core. दुसरं, आमची इंटरव्ह्यू घेण्याची पद्धत जरा वेगळी आहे. आम्ही माणसाला जॉबबद्दल फार कमी विचारतो, कारण तो आपल्याकडे येऊन शिकणार असतो. बट आम्ही लोक प्रयत्न करतो फाइंड आउट करायला की त्या माणसाला आयुष्यात काय करायचं आहे, इन्स्टेड ऑफ तो माझ्यासाठी काय करेल, त्याचं काय त्याला काय वाटतं आपण करावं हे आम्ही शोधतो. आता अकाउंट्समध्ये जॉब आहे, त्याला दुसरीकडे अकाउंट्समध्ये त्याच्या आवडीचा जॉब मिळाला नाही म्हणून तो अकाउंट्स लिहायला आला, तर कॅन ही बी अ गुड अकाउंटंट? नेवर. पण तो कुठच्या ह्याच्यासाठी सुटेबल आहे असे काही प्रश्न विचारून आमच्याकडे एक हे आहे, आणि ते विचारून आम्हाला साधारण अंदाज येतो की हा माणूस कुठे काम करू शकतो, अँड व्हॉट इज हिज पॅशन, व्हॉट इज हिज लाइकिंग, आणि देन वी रिक्रूट हिम on that basis. Sometimes we may not have a vacancy in that area, but if we find a good person for customer service, for sales, for this, we will hire him and keep him and train him, because he is my asset. What is it? For a logistic company, manpower is my asset. So that is the thing which I follow to the core. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट मी एक बघितलेलं आहे की प्रत्येक माणसाला सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट असतो, आणि तेवढा जर जपला, ऑफकोर्स यू कॅनॉट पे हिम पीनट्स अँड आस्क हिम टू वर्क 24 hours. नो, मनी इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम मनी त्या माणसाला एक त्याचा रिस्पेक्ट दिला, त्याच्या प्रॉब्लेम्स अंडरस्टँड केले. एव्हरी प्रॉब्लेम आय मे नॉट बी एबल टू सॉर्ट आउट, बट अंडरस्टँडिंग हिज प्रॉब्लेम ऑल्सो ही इज व्हेरी कम्फर्टेबल. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट म्हणजे बाकीचे लोक काय करतात, वाय पीपल आर लिव्हिंग फ्रॉम अदर कंपनीज. अँड आय एम व्हेरी प्राऊड टू से की आमच्या इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये जवळजवळ 7% टर्नराऊंड रेशो आहे, वेअर एज माय कंपनी फॉर द लास्ट 30 years वी हॅव बीन एबल टू मेंटेन ॲट 1%, विच इज अ व्हेरी व्हेरी बिग अचीवमेंट बाय डुईंग दिस. आणि हीच आमची एक टीम स्ट्रॅटेजी हे ठेवण्याचं ही एक गोष्ट आहे, ती आम्हाला खूप हेल्प होते. एक छोटंसं उदाहरण देतो. आम्ही जे आमचे टीम मेंबर्स आहेत त्यांच्या घरच्याशी पण संबंध ठेवतो. एक आमच्याकडे सिनियर कस्टमर सर्व्हिस मॅनेजर होती. बिकॉज ऑफ प्रेशर, वर्क प्रेशर, शी वॉन्टेड टू लीव. द लास्ट थिंग आय एक्सपेक्टेड दॅट हर हजबंड कॉल्स मी, सजित साहेब जरा बघा तिच्याशी बोला, डोकं फिरलेलं आहे. म्हणजे टिल धिस वी हॅव मेंटेन द रिलेशनशिप with majority of our staff, and that is one of the reasons we have been able to maintain a very very low turnover of the employees. That is what I feel is my reason. Thank you.
ग्रेट. आपल्याकडे अनेक प्रश्न असू शकतात. आपल्याकडे एक महत्त्वाचा प्रश्न आहे वेळ, तोही आपल्याला सांभाळायचा आहे. आज आपल्याकडे 3 दिग्गज आले, प्रकाशजी, अनिरुद्ध आणि प्रधान सर. 3 वेगवेगळ्या इंडस्ट्री, आणि आपल्याला इथे दिसू शकतं की मोठमोठ्या इन्व्हेस्टमेंट्स जेव्हा होत असतात इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरमध्ये, आणि भारत हा आता जो देश आहे त्याच्यात पुढची जी काही 20-25 वर्ष डेव्हलपमेंट होणार आहे ती प्रचंड प्रमाणात ह्या क्षेत्रात होणार आहे. ह्या क्षेत्रात आपल्याला ॲज अन MSME आपल्याला इतक्या जबरदस्त संधी मिळणार आहेत, आणि या संधींचा वापर आपण कसा करतो हे आपल्यावर अवलंबून आहे. जर आपण ही संधी घेऊ शकलो नाही तर आपल्या जागी दुसरा कोणीतरी घेणारच आहे, त्यामुळे ही संधी वाया जाणार नाही आहे. तर मित्रांनो, आपल्याला हे लक्षात ठेवलं पाहिजे की आपण MSME म्हणजे लहान नसून, सरांनी ज्याप्रमाणे सांगितलं त्याप्रमाणे आपण एक एजाईल आहोत. आपण अतिशय फास्ट डिसिजन घेऊ शकतो आणि अत्यंत उत्तम कार्य करू शकतो. आपल्याला पुढचे अनेक प्रश्न आहेत, खरं तर टेक्नॉलॉजी आहे, AI आहे, यांचा इम्पॅक्ट काय आहे, पण आय थिंक तो आपण दुसऱ्या पुढच्या सत्रामध्ये करू शकतो. मी तिघाही आपल्या मान्यवर स्पीकर्सना म्हणू इच्छितो की आज तुम्ही जो आम्हाला इनपुट्स दिलेत ते खरंच लक्षवेधी आहेत, आणि अत्यंत धन्यवाद. थँक्यू सो मच.
थँक्यू.